Hello, this is William from Visual Components. In this video, I'm going to give you a walkthrough of the help documents and other online material you have available for your 4.0 product. Let's get started with the help file. To access the help file, go to the top right corner and click the question mark or press F1. You can also click the help tab here, go to help and reference, and click the help button. This opens the help file, which is a CHM file, so it is a compiled list of HTML files. Over here we can see the contents pane. We have the help or home page. We have a what's new article. If you are upgrading from a 2014 product, I do recommend you read this topic. You can also see the CAD files that you can import and export from the software, and a list of shortcuts. Let's now go to the Getting Started section, and I do recommend everybody read this. The setup section here is kind of redundant if you've already installed the software, but you can find some helpful information for dealing with licensing and in cases where you need to install the software remotely. The How It Works section is kind of an introduction tutorial, so you can learn how to navigate the 3D world, select objects, how to change how objects appear in the 3D world, and just some short articles of how you can build a layout, run a simulation, teach a robot, model a component, and create a drawing. Now, of course, if you are a Visual Components Essentials user, you would not have access to this modeling component topic. So the help file is conditional based on which product you have. Let's now go to the user interface, and here you can learn more about the controls of the software. So if you're going to run a simulation, go to the Help tab. The View section, this will be the view you have when you click the File tab to go backstage. This is the view you'll have when you're creating drawings. This is the view you'll have when you're configuring a layout with components. This is the view you will have when you're modeling components. And this is the view you will have when you're programming a robot. Panels, this will just describe what the panels do. So you can see here's the cell graph panel, and here's the eCatalog panel, which actually contains a lot of information. Let's now go on to the task section here. And this is just standard procedures for how you can do things with the software. So if we expand catalog and go to sources, let's say you want to add a local source or a remote source, and here are just some helpful steps of how you could do that. Let's now go to documents, and here you can learn more about a component file or layout file. So if we go to components overview, you can learn about a component structure. So it contains nodes, properties, behaviors, and features. If you scroll down, you can learn more about its file structure. You can also click the layouts topic here and learn about its file structure. Let's now go to the reference guide. So if you need to learn more about a behavior or how to use it, you can find articles about each behavior and descriptions for its properties. If you need to write an expression in your code or with a type of property, you can find some helpful articles here under expressions. And if you need to specify units when assigning a value to a property, this is also a very helpful article. Let's now go on to features. So if you're modeling a component, you'll probably review this section. And it does give you some examples along with descriptions for the properties of the feature. Let's now go to robot statements, and you'll probably access this when you're programming a robot to learn more about the statement and how it's used and descriptions for its properties. Let's now go to Python API. So you can see that you have a couple articles here for an overview of how the API works, the syntax you need to use, the constants, which is a long list, snippets, these are good code examples for working with our Python API. And here you have a short tutorial of how to create your own Python add-on for the software. And from there on, each topic is in alphabetical order. You can access the Python API as a separate document. Just go to Help and Reference and click Python API here. .NET API, this is automatically generated from comments in the source code of the product. So you can see it's a lot of information. And if you want to access this as a separate document, you can go to Help and Reference and click .NET API. And if you are just working with Python API, it is good practice to kind of just access that document and then search for information here, because this will only search the Python API document, not the entire help file. Let's go back. And then for the help file, let's look at these other two panes. So we have the search pane and the favorites pane. So if you do find something you like in the contents or a topic here, you can go to favorites and then add it to your list. So the next time you open the help file, let's do that now, you can see I can quickly go back to that article. The search pane is doing exactly what it says. It helps you search for topics in the help file. And I'll quickly go over a couple ways you can do that. So you can do a full text search. If I write robot motion statement, it will look for those terms. And we can see we get the title of the topic, its location, and the rank, which basically is ranking the search if this is a good match. What you'll usually do is want to click the location column here to sort the results. So I can now just see the results for the help file, the results for the Python API, and the .NET API. So here I can find an article in the help. Let's say robots here. And this is actually a contents page to access topics. But we can do the search again by using a phrase search. So we can then include this around quotes. So robot motion statement. Now the first search I did had about 36 results, but if I list the topics, you can see it did not find anything. So to work around that, we can now do some Boolean operations for our search. So we can say robot, you can use a capital and in all caps, or a lowercase, because this is not case sensitive. If you want to know what operators you can use, you can click this expand button and you can insert them. So we have and, or, near, or not. So I can say robot and motion and statement, and I get some results. Let's now try robot and motion, not statement, and see what we get. We get a different list of results. For the not operand, you can also pass this as an exclamation point or as a caret, like that. You can also use the near statement, or near operation. So you want to find a robot phrase or keyword that is near this phrase of statement. And you can see we get a lot more results. You can also use the Boolean operator around parentheses. So you can say robot and make the parentheses motion or position. So it'll search the topics to find a result that has robot and either motion or position. And we get a lot of results. You can also do wildcard searches. So this is similar to where if you don't know what the beginning or end character of the keyword is, you can use this asterisk. So I can say asterisk statement, list of topics, and I get a lot of results. You can also add this after the keyword if you don't know what needs to follow it, and we do get less results. You can also add the asterisk in between the phrase to be an unknown character, and we get more results. When I'm usually doing a search, I kind of am very specific, so I say robot motion statement, and I get 36 results, and I know to look either in Python API if I'm programming something, or in the help file if I'm actually teaching the robot with the user interface. And the last thing I want to mention about the search is you have these filters here, so you can search the previous results for the next phrase you use here. You can match similar words, so by default this is on, and you can also only search the titles of the topics in the help file if you wanted to. Let's exit out of the help, and if we go to help and reference, you can see we already covered the help file, the Python.NET, but here you have an option for Python 2.7, so we use a stackless version of Python 2.7 for your Python code and scripts. So here you can access that documentation for it. And it's also a CHM file, so you should expect to see those panes I mentioned earlier. So you have the contents, search, and favorites, but it also has an index in case you need to quickly search for an index using that. For online support material, we do have an academy where you can find lessons and courses. So let's go there now. So lessons are tutorials, and courses are kind of these pre-planned or guided lessons. So you have a playlist of lessons that you should do to do a course. So you can learn how to program a robot with Python, create add-ons using .NET or Python. And if we click View All Courses, I do recommend you do this course first called Getting Started. And this will kind of walk you through, if we learn more about it, those topics I showed you earlier in the help file. So some of these match up, some of these are different for new features, and a lot of these are actually video tutorials, not written documentation. Let's now exit out of this. Actually, let's go back to that, sorry. If you do want to get a notification for the Academy, you can scroll down and then get a notification with an email address. So every time we add a new lesson or course, you'll get a notification for that. If we go to online support and material, we can go to our forum. So this is an open forum, so you can sign up for an account. If you don't want to, you can still read the content, but there are some limitations, so you can't get access to attached files. Let's now go to our community. So this is what you will use to submit support tickets. And then we also have a blog where you can read about case studies and other stuff going on with Visual Components. For social media, you can go to our YouTube channel. And here you can find a playlists of tutorials, so Python API tutorials, tutorials dealing with eCatalog, tutorials dealing with the connectivity, or for example the OPC UA server connection, the TwinCat PLC connection. You also have tutorials for physics, .NET API, and a Getting Started playlist as well. Let's now go back to our social media. You can go to our Facebook page, LinkedIn, and Twitter as well. Okay, this completes the video. If you have any more questions, please feel free to visit our forum at forum.visualcomponents.com, and I hope you have a wonderful day.